Well, good morning and welcome to this week's Monday Motivation. Monday Motivation, in case this is the first time you've come across this motivation, Monday Motivation was specially created back in 2008, I'm going to say, and probably a bit before that, because in my background in financial services, I was a senior manager, and one of the things that I noticed was that Monday's got a bit of a bad rap. Sunday night started to become a thing that was dreaded. I've got so much to do tomorrow, so much to do this week, I'm so busy, and all of those things. And I thought, if you're going to start the week, why not start the week with a spring in your step, right? Rather than starting it with a fear or a dread of what could be going on. So Monday Motivations actually started as an email to a couple of work colleagues. And then from 2008, it grew to more and more people that used to receive the Monday Motivations, maybe a motivational quote or something else like that. And then when I started my business in 2010, I thought, I wonder if my people on my email list would like this. So I'd send them round a motivational quote until I think it's 4 years ago now. 4 years ago, as Facebook Live entered the UK shores 3 months after America and Australia, I thought, why not bring this to life and actually talk about it? And that way, we can have a two-way conversation. All of that to say that Monday Motivation, for me, isn't TV. It isn't, just have a quick look at what this person's saying and sit in the background. But it's a really good time if I talk about something and you think, do you know what? I've never thought of that before, or I quite like that, or I do that, or anything else in between. Then type it in the box below. If you, like many of the regulars that rock up for the Monday Motivation Live, want a bit of, a bit of a kickstart to your week, especially in this week, and for those of us in business, I'm calling it business as unusual, which I know sounds a bit negative, but it isn't meant to be. Things have changed. Things will not be the same for a while. So why not embrace it? Why not find ways in which we can be motivated to do it? This is not really about staying positive or staying negative or anything else like that, because I know that many of you have had challenges with these, with the different ways that the planet has changed in the last, few weeks. But what I am here to say is that we are in charge of our motivation. And one of the things that we can do, and will continue doing, especially in times of adversity, we will continue to find different ways and get creative with how we can do things differently, think things differently, be things differently. So with that, I want to share, just in the time that we have together, next sort of 15 minutes, I want to be able to share with you the 3 H's of Monday Motivation. And for any of you that have followed my work for a while, you might have heard me talk about this here on Facebook, on a Facebook Live. You might have heard me talk about it over on LinkedIn. You might have even heard me mention, elements of this on things like Instagram. But I've definitely covered these concepts over the years, especially over the last 2 years when I've been on BBC 5 Live. I remember, I think it's going back a year now, we talked about handshake or hugging on BBC 5 Live with Emma Barnett. And this all stems from these 3 H's, these concepts. So hopefully helpful. What I would ask is please do share this with people. They do really need this at this time. People are getting a bit bombarded with information at the moment too. So share it on your timeline so that they can see it, as opposed to sending it to a gazillion people through private message, because I think a lot of people are kind of feeling the overwhelm now. So without any further ado, I'm going to jump into it. So the 3 H's, like, what is it and why is it important? So first off, the 3 H's stand for the head, the heart and the hands. And I'm going to explain more about why it's important and what it is. But basically, how we do anything in life, and given that I'm training, yes, the London Marathon's been postponed, but I'm still training for it. I've got 6 months extra to train. So there are the 3 concepts, the head, the heart and hands. So let me give you it in that context, a universal context that you can see and appreciate, and then we'll go deeper. In the meantime, while I give the 3 H's, if there is something or things that are coming up for you, if you haven't got pen and paper handy, make a note on your phone, or write it on the back of your hand or something. But do make a note of these, because you can use what we share here this morning to continue doing that for all of your Monday, all of your morning, all of your Monday, your week, and even into the next few months, to be honest with you. This stuff really underpins everything. As I say, I've only got a little bit of time, so I'll go through why it's important, and also let you know how you can get access to more of this kind of information as well, if that's okay with you. So, first things first, the head, the heart and the hands, what is it? I noticed when I started training for the marathon, you've got to think about this, a marathon 26.2 miles. And for anything in life that you are doing now, or thinking of doing, or about to do, or in the middle of doing, that feels particularly difficult, there's always these 3 elements at play. Head being the mindset and the way we think about it, really. So how are you thinking about this situation? And also, how are you thinking about it, and what's going on under the surface, under the bonnet, as I normally term it? What's going on under the bonnet? Now, if your situation, you're thinking, well, actually, I'm really excited about this. This is really cool. That's great. Something that you might want to explore deeper and work on is something that doesn't feel 100%, because that way you can then kind of transmute it and help it to grow into something that serves you. So the heart is the passion behind it, the drive behind it. This is a sticky critter, because once you've got some clarity as to what's going on up there, it doesn't have to be the result, but once you've got some clarity, what it does is it then, when you go to your passion and what's behind it, it's easier to identify whether it is truly your passion or someone else's. Now, why is this important? This is important because if you are trying to do something because somebody else expects you to do it, it becomes really hard. Think back to your years as maybe a stubborn or not so stubborn teenager. Somebody tells you what to do and you do it. Now, the thing that I do know about my audience, my community, and many of my clients is we don't like being told that we have to do something. Current environment is really showing this up. People are being told, please stay awake, please keep social distancing and things like that. Yeah, when I've gone to the shops and I'm in the middle of a move, so I'm kind of having to go out and do bits and pieces. When we go out, I see people that are, completely disregarding that. Has anyone else seen that? And they're disregarding it. And there's a lot of talk about stupidity and people being idiots. And you know what? People, generally speaking, don't like being told you have to do something. And it's the same when we want to, create a project, make a plan, do something in our business, do something at work. There are ways to encourage people to do something and influence them in the way that you'd like them to do. And that works a reverse way and a way to be influenced. But when we tell people you must do something, including ourselves, it normally doesn't work out quite as smoothly as we want it to. So the passion behind it, one of the saddest questions, or the saddest answers that I hear to a question that I ask a lot when I work privately with people is, about what are you really passionate about? And they say, I don't know anymore. Especially for those of you who've had families, maybe had big life changes and trauma, sometimes it's harder to get the clarity because you don't know anymore. So finding your passion and being clear on your passion is really, really important step to be able to then know, am I sort of, running down a rabbit hole, or am I going on the right path? And then the hands are the practicalities of it. So now you've got that clarity, now you've got a bit of space in your head. What do you do next? One of the questions I get asked a lot is, Jenny, what do you think I should say? And this isn't even a business thing now. My friends, family members, people that are close to me say, oh, this thing happened today. What do you think I should say? Or this person said this or is doing this. How do you think I should respond? Or Jenny, this person has said this and I'm going to say that. What do you think? I'm like, no. Okay, so it's something that I'm really passionate about. So what is this? The head, the heart and the hands. Why it's important for those very reasons that I've just mentioned. And I can see people hopping on. So if that's you and you're like, oh, what did I miss? What did I miss? Don't worry. This Facebook Live will allow you to go back and rewatch at the end. Okay, so do that. Okay. So now we know what it is and why it's important, like how are we going to use it? So I'm going to go into one of those. Hey, good morning, Faye. Thank you for saying hi. You're all very quiet this morning. I can see people jumping in, jumping off. So I'm going to go into how we can use it, but I'm also going to just share something with you. As I promised at the beginning of this video, I did say I would let you know how you can get more access to this. Now, of course, there's plenty of content and things that will help you with head, heart and hand aspects on this very Facebook page. Also, for those of you who may be more business minded on LinkedIn, I have a few nuggets that I've shared over there. In fact, recently, my posts have been trending with, I think, fairly low number of viewers, in the few hundred. So that's quite a good thing, isn't it? If it's trending, if it's of interest to people, then hopefully it'll be of interest to you as well. All free resources. But me, like many other businesses in the UK, I want to keep going. So I do offer paid products and services as well. I'm not going to use this Monday Motivation as a pitch. But what I am going to say is I have got the third part of a trilogy happening today to make it super kind of, flexible for you guys. I'm doing one at 4 and one at 7. If you would like details and haven't seen any details of the trilogy and haven't seen parts 1 and 2, just type in the comment below either 4 p.m. UK time or 7 p.m, which will be UK time, and I'll send you the information. I'll send you both the links to the first and the second. Give you and the kids something to watch. I don't swear on my lives or anything else like that, and I don't swear on my videos, so perfectly safe to watch with the kids. And then if you'd like to join me at 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock, I would love it. I would love it so I can finish off the third part of the trilogy, which is some practicalities, things for you to do. And I'm also leaving a lot of space for you to take questions. It's safe, it's at a distance, it's online, it's hands-free. The only thing you'll be touching is your screen, your pen and your paper when you're making copious amounts of notes. So please, if you could spread the word. Again, I've got a post about it on here, so or on my banner. If you look up there and you're thinking, well, how can I share it with people that need it? That's how you can do it. So with that said, I'm just going to check. So with that said, let's go a bit deeper into one of the head, the heart and the hands. And I'm going to go deeper into the head because it's one of the things that I noticed within myself. And this never stops. You'll always find something that's like life teaches you stuff, that you want to go deeper in. So it could be that you've recently met somebody who's like draining all your energy. It could be that you've recently been really challenged in the current environment with business and you're like, I don't know what to do, how to move forward. It could be that you've been challenged career-wise in your job. And it's ironic timing that the trilogy came out when it has done, because it is all about you raising your professional profile. And one of the things that people say is, I've been working with the company for sometimes a year, sometimes 5 years, sometimes 10 years, sometimes longer, and I know how things roll around here. And those people are likely to get not complacent but kind of camouflage into the environment and keep on doing things in a way that their environment encourages without really raising their profile and raising their visibility or credibility. And one of the things that I see happen is I get a lot of messages from people who know me or people who have worked with me, and they say, I've got this decision to make on my career. Should I stay or should I go? That is actually a byproduct of raising your professional profile. And when it's raised to a way that you're sufficiently happy with, there is no should I do this or should I do that. The other thing that I get a lot more often than not, people being blindsided or very surprised at the fact that they've been working somewhere for ages, they're on a road to promotion, and all of a sudden their boss says, meet Jenny, she's going to be starting on Monday. I need you to train her to do the job that you've been doing. And even worse, sometimes get privy to the fact that Jenny is getting paid more than you are, and you've been superseded. how this happens to business people in a business context. I'm going to read your comment in a second, Faye. In a business context is you see people that are out there doing their stuff and you're frustrated or you're curious and thinking, well, how comes they get to do that? You know, how come she got to go on the BBC so many times? And she's got like, you know, a third of the number of Facebook likes. Or how comes he gets to go and be asked to speak at this event? And I've been asking the event organiser for ages and they just don't seem to know that I exist. Or how comes this person has got this call going on with this number of people and it's something that I can do, I've been doing for years. Why, you know, or why is this person asking me, who do you recommend to do so-and-so when I can help them with it? You know, that's a kind of a symptom that you're being passed over. So here are a couple of things to do. First thing I always say is start with the head, start with the mindset. Most of us start with the head and use it to plan forward. But what we need to do is we need to get our own clarity first. Get clear on our vision, get clear on our goal, get clear on our clarity. So on the trilogy that I've just done, I actually go through a process on the second part of the trilogy where you can go through and clarify that. And all these master or mini classes, really, they're all less than an hour. So they're an hour long, maybe an hour and a couple of minutes. But you can go through and do all of that. And what that does is you clear the cobwebs and it helps you to get set for the next thing. It's almost like a spring cleaning, a mental spring cleaning. So once you've got that clarity, you're then able to know where you want to go next. And what I'm doing on the trilogy today is I'm going to be talking about the how. So it'd be really great if you can join me either at 4 or at 7. And then that way I can answer questions while you're there because they're not pre-recorded, they're live, and I can help you go through that. Now, Faye's comment, she says, I can identify with meeting someone who drains my positivity. Okay. That is, that's unfortunate because I know what that feels like. It feels really bad. There are different things that you can do. Funnily enough, I was talking to somebody else about this. In my vibe system, the E part, the energy part, talks about exactly that. Preserving our energy in how we do things and how we set things out. And preserving our energy when we're being visible and we're going out in the world against what people might say. People will always have something negative to say. That's the first thing. You know, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it and say, oh, well, you know, some people this, some people that. People will always have something negative to say, even in the most positive of times. You know, there's been times in my life where I've gone, yes, I'm celebrating this. And people have gone, and normally it's in the minority, but people have gone, what are you doing that for? That's a silly thing to do. No one else is doing that. Why would you want to do that? I think you should go and do this. You know, I've lost count of the amount of conversations I have with people who have started a business and maybe struggled a bit, and they've spoken to a family member that said, I think you should go and get a proper job. I think it's silly that you're doing that. You're putting yourself at risk, you're putting your kids at risk, They don't say that when you come through the other end. When you like get really clear and you get through the other end, and then you start to help extraordinary amounts of people, make the money that you want. It's a full contact sport, but you do need to stick to it. And once you stick to it, and it's like riding the crest of a wave, then that's where the magic happens. But sometimes people ride the crest of the wave and then they're like, get scared, fall off, and you never know what happens on the other side. So second thing to do after you've got clarity within your mind is to work out actually what stops you and what propels you. Because when you've got that, you can do something about it. So at the very start of my marathon training, you've got to remember that I, was a non-runner. Never run before, never, done anything kind of like marathon-esque, and still haven't, not till October anyway. But in my training, one of the things I quickly identified using this very process was that quite often I felt like I wanted to stop. And so it's all well and good saying, well, I feel like I want to stop, I've been running, I'm out of breath, but I needed to know where that came from, where it started. So with a bit of exploration and asking the head, heart and hands questions, I was able to identify exactly what was stopping me and use something as an antidote. It wasn't hypnotherapy, wasn't fancy language patterns. It was listening to music or listening to webinars or listening to things that fed my brain. Very quickly, I found that that was a distraction, and what I actually needed was distraction. Now, you might need something else, but that distraction actually worked in a positive way for me. And before I knew it, I was then able to run 5K, and I went from the 5K to the 10K. And now I'm at the bit where I need to do the 10K to more. So I'm still using those techniques and finding different ways in which I stop myself. I've known myself for 40 plus years, you know, and I'm still finding out things about myself. So the third thing is be curious. Anytime a challenge comes up for you in the next few hours, in the next few days, have a look at what it's trying to teach you. So for your comment where you said meeting somebody who drains your energy, I would ask the very kind of head-on question, what is this situation trying to teach you? Is it trying to teach you that, you know what, you're surrounded by a lot of people that drain your positivity, so rather than run from them, maybe you need to learn a new set of skills with how to deal with them, or how to protect your energy from them, or how to transmute them. I'm really using the word transmute. I'm liking that word at the moment. You know, as opposed to transform, but how to transmute them. Is it that you need to grow thicker skin? I'm not suggesting any of these are true, by the way. I'm just giving options because I'm sure you're not the only person that meets people that drains their positivity. I know I certainly do. Is it that you are inadvertently putting yourself in a place where people are more likely to be negative than positive? Is it that when somebody is draining your positivity because you don't like it, and again, this is not aimed directly at you, Faye, this is for anyone who's listening. I know that I've experienced this myself, and I was going to say I've nursed clients. I haven't nursed them. I've literally coached them through this, where somebody says something to them and they inadvertently take it on, or they inadvertently put themselves in the environment. And people often say, yeah, but I have to go to work. And, you know, I remember speaking to a coaching client just in December. Yeah, but I have to go to work and this person's really negative. Jenny, I know they're negative because they're, you know, everyone else says so as well. And I get that. I'm not saying that you're the problem. Remove yourself. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes we need to learn different tools and different ways to turn the positivity. And one of the things that I see is that people lose their ability to use their voice. Something I'm really passionate about and I could properly rant about. But I believe we all have a voice and we all have ways in which we can use it, and often we don't know how. We don't know what to say, we don't know how to say it. So when Nelly, the negative, comes along and starts spouting their negativity and draining our positivity, it sometimes renders us speechless, depending on our programming and our patterning and what we've grown up to believe is decent and right and polite and everything else. Sometimes our best answer is silence, or we say something that doesn't actually address what we need to say. And sometimes the loving answer is no. No more, no more, you know? But we don't always feel comfortable with saying that. And sometimes that is not the way for it to be heard by the person. So is it trying to teach us what we need to say and how we need to say it? I hope that helps a little bit, Faye. I hope there was something in there that you might be able to grab hold of and think, actually, this is what I'm going to try next, or this is what I'm going to do. So that's it. The 3 H's for Monday Motivation. The thing that I will say is there's loads of great stuff out there. I know that at the moment there's loads of negativity and a little bit of fear, but there's lots of really positive stuff out there. There are people doing morning meditations. There are people doing group prayers. There's people doing visualizations. There are people that are doing mantras to save the planet. There are people that are doing yoga online. People that are doing exercises. People that are showing you how to cook really well. Roll your sleeves up and stick your arms through that screen and grab the stuff that you need. Grab what only feeds you. Grab what helps you. Listen out for the information, the updates if you have to, but you don't need to listen to them on a loop, especially if it freaks you out. Notice how you feel after announcements made, and if you start to feel fearful or extra worried, then the announcement that you've heard might not be the best announcement for you to have. And finally, it's Monday, it's time for some motivation. Keep your eyes peeled in the Visibility Vibes Tribe group, because a couple of times each day, I'm asking you, what are you selling? Who are the coaches? What books have you written? What can you share in here? Let's keep this economy going in the way that we can, and let's support each other in doing it. Even if it's through a share or a like, let's support each other through this, because I believe within a very short space of time, we'll get so sick of the situation and deeming it as a dire situation that we will start to do things differently, do things better, love on each other, support each other, raise each other up and pull together. That's it. Hopefully helpful. Let me know if you want to join me at 4 o'clock or 7 o'clock and you haven't seen anything in your inbox. I'd love to have you. I'm moving today. Still I've been moving stuff over the weekend, moving today. And throughout the next week. So me putting this out there isn't something that I'm just flinging out there that hasn't been thought of. It's got a lot of work behind it. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye for now.